Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Hi, good morning. We made it to Tuesday. It is July 9th.
And it is going to be a hot Tuesday out there already. How are those chances for rain looking out there, Sarah?
There's a window for rain this afternoon. Now, not everybody's going to see storms, but a few of those pop-up downpours are possible. Hey, take a look at the radar. We've actually got stuff to look at this morning on the radar. Out near Rock Springs, seeing a shower near the junction as well. Even some rumbles of thunder and some lightning as this storm that was right on the Kinney and Edwards County line has slowly started to fall apart, but farther up to the north, you can see near Sonora there was a few showers and storms. In Rock Springs, you're getting a quick splash and dash shower. This is a great way to show that the atmosphere does have some instability, which means a chance for some rain later on today. As we take a look outside right now, though, in San Antonio, it's sunny and 85, 84 at Stinson, 87 in Del Rio, 79 in Bernie, and Kerrville, you're at 78. Here's a look at when those rain chances are more likely. In the afternoon, pretty much between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. We're only talking about a 30% chance. Again, so not everybody's seeing rain, but some folks will see some rainfall. Hope you're one of the lucky ones. We need rain in San Antonio. I'll have details on the fact that we've got a triple-digit count of 100-degree days. I want you to guess how many 100-degree days we've had so far this year, and will we add on to that triple-digit tally? I'll have those details coming up in a bit. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with RJ. RJ, there was a lot more construction this morning than yesterday.
Yeah, construction back in full force earlier this morning as those crews got set to go with the anticipation of rain out of the way. We got a lot of that activity going, but we're looking at right here, downtown area. If you're coming into downtown right now, 35 southbound right there at Main Avenue, we have at least one main lane blocked right now due to a crash from earlier this morning, about 15, 20 minutes or so. This popped up on TxDOT. Now, we are still seeing traffic move through the area, but we are backing things up all the way to Brooklyn, even all the way up to St. Mary's, even going up to the 281 corridor area. So keep that in mind. Again, 35 southbound coming in and Main Avenue. We're also seeing some pretty heavy congestion on the opposite lanes of 35 right now in the downtown area for all of our drivers coming in from the Woodlawn Lake area. Fulton, Frio Street, we are seeing some congestion for all of our drivers coming up 35 north right now downtown at the Y. That's kind of the biggest thing that we're seeing at the moment, Sarah. Again, the biggest accident that we're seeing 35 southbound right there at Main Avenue as we give you one more quick look at our citywide map. And again, we've cleared some things out, especially on the west side of town. 90 over by 1604. That is clear and good to go. And 1604, seeing our normal congestion in that area. So it is a good Tuesday. Got some good vibes going. Just wanted to mention that I'm hearing through the grapevine that we will get to hear from the newest Spur, y'all, Chris Paul, later today, and Harrison Barnes as well. I know my man Dylan Collier, he's right here standing by. I know he's very excited about these Spurs moves. And yes, so we got good vibes all the way around on a Tuesday morning across the Alamo City. Stephanie, Patty, back to you guys.
We're excited to hear from them.
Here's today's 9 at 9.
Beryl is out of Texas and now a tropical depression moving northeast. There is a threat of flash flooding in the Midwest from Missouri to Indiana today. And here in Texas, at least 6 people have died and millions are still without power 24 hours after the storm made landfall.
Today is the first day of the NATO summit in Washington, D.C., marking 75 years of the alliance. The gathering is generating questions about Ukraine's desire to join the organization. One of the sticking points is that NATO members pledged to defend each other in war, and the U.S. and some other countries don't want to fight with Russia.
A top Parkinson's disease specialist met with President Biden's doctor at the White House at least 8 times since last August, including 3 visits this year. However, the circumstances of the meeting are unclear. The visitor logs do not provide reasons for the visit, including if it was in reference to the president. The White House press secretary said Biden had been seen by neurologists 3 times during his presidency, and each was around his physical.
Jury selection begins today in Alec Baldwin's Rust movie set shooting trial. Yesterday, the prosecution had a setback after the judge ruled that only Baldwin's role as an actor would be considered at trial, not his role as co-producer of the movie. Prosecutors wanted to show that in his role as producer, Baldwin fostered an environment of negligence and recklessness by allegedly rushing people on the set to save time and money, including the movie's armorer who loaded the gun that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. The trial expected to last 10 days. If convicted, Baldwin could face up to 18 months in prison.
Walmart must face a class action lawsuit over allegations it engaged in deceptive pricing in its stores. A judge dismissed the case last year and ruled that Walmart negated
Chief William McManus is accused of exchanging sexually explicit text messages while on the job.
Well, the texts sent by Officer Mark Castillo were uncovered after officers responded to a possible disturbance between the woman and her husband at an East Side home.
A review of the messages by KSAT shows many of them were sent during Castillo's assigned work hours, Monday through Thursday, between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., and while the officer was in close proximity to McManus. Castillo writing to Cisneros' wife at one point, expletive, wanted to touch her legs. After she replied, "You still can, I'm headed over there now," Castillo responded, "I'm still with Chief, but he might be done soon." Or this exchange, in which Castillo described a sex act with her, told her to make sure she erased the messages, and then revealed that McManus was about to walk out. SAPD officials refused to make Chief McManus available for an interview for this story, stating the complaint against Castillo is being investigated and that the department cannot comment on media inquiries that have not resulted in discipline.
Well, KSAT Investigates Dylan Collier joins us now to talk more about this story. And Dylan, go ahead and walk us through all of those messages that surfaced.
Certainly. So these messages were discovered by a man named Arturo Cisneros. He found them on his wife's phone while trying to locate some appraisal documents. The texts were then turned over to SAPD Internal Affairs, which has now launched a formal inquiry into Castillo and his actions.
And Dylan, can you talk about why this behavior from Castillo is a potential rule violation?
Well, there is case precedent, even within SAPD, that sending inappropriate messages, particularly while working, brings discredit to the officer and the department. There was an officer in 2021 who was suspended 20 days for something similar to this. Put simply, instead of carrying out his assigned duties, Castillo is accused of exchanging these sexually explicit messages. We'll just have to wait and see whether this results in a suspension for him. That could take up to 6 months from the time that the action was discovered. So we're looking at potentially a few more months before we know how this plays out.
Yeah, so this will be a long process, and I understand the full story will air tonight on the Night Beat?
Yep, tonight on the Night Beat, and the investigation, the written version of it will be online shortly.
All right. Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you. And again, time right now is 9:07, and we're about 79, 80 degrees right now.
All right, drone video shows you all the flooding in Houston right now after Hurricane Beryl moved through that area yesterday. When we come back, how CPS crews from San Antonio are hoping to help Houston residents, and the latest from Matagorda, where the storm made landfall.
Welcome back. It's the 9/11. CPS crews are on their way to Houston right now to help residents there without power after Hurricane Beryl moved through yesterday. They left San Antonio around 7 this morning.
And CPS Energy has sent around 60 people out of town, including equipment operators, line crews, pole crews, fleet personnel, and safety teams, and of course, nursing staff.
There's about 2.2 million customers in Houston that are out of power, and so CenterPoint Energy asked for our assistance, and we're happy to send our folks to go help them.
And summertime isn't the best time to be without power. With the heat index in Houston reaching 100 degrees, there is a heat advisory issued for residents there.
Well, about 94 miles south of Houston is Matagorda, where Hurricane Beryl made landfall yesterday. Residents there are going to be dealing with the remnants of the storm for some time now.
Gage Golding from our sister station in Houston, KPRC, was out there early this morning and tells us about the conditions over there and the big problems residents are now dealing with.
Many of these families have yet to return to their homes to see what remains. I mean, most of them are standing. Yes, some have damage. You see this one here, it has part of the bottom floor. The wall is missing. But the biggest damage is what you can't see in a lot of these homes. The hours and hours on end that Hurricane Beryl was just battering, beating up these homes with these hurricane force winds. We measured gusts here over 100 miles an hour. All that moisture being thrown at the homes. Where we stayed, the home here on Matagorda, almost every single window was leaking. There was water coming through the doors. So you can just imagine all that moisture, plus not having any power for days now. It just adds to the equation. We met one woman who had an even bigger problem, Beryl getting her for more ways than one.
Let me get the flashlight on. The floor is really spongy, so I don't know how safe it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Were you shocked whenever you saw this?
Yes. Extremely shocked. Like I said, we've been here since 2019. We've been through Nicholas. We've been through some tropical storms. We had this, what was it, last 2 weeks ago?
Alberto, yeah.
Alberto, and we got 6 inches under the house then. But yeah, we were shocked when he came back here.
And now the cleanup continues. You have to wonder, how many times will they want to go through this? How many times can they go through this? The big thing is that this is the second tropical system to hit the Texas Gulf Coast. Just a little over 2 weeks ago, Tropical Storm Alberto crashing into the Corpus Christi area. And now you have Beryl here in the Matagorda and Houston area. Here's the crazy thing, though. The thing that's concerning, that has a lot of people eyes opened, is that the hurricane season is just really getting started. We have a long way to go in what's already forecasted to be a historic hurricane season. I'm reporting on Matagorda, Gage Golding.
Of course, we know that Justin, our meteorologist, was out there while landfall was happening out there, and just there's a lot. I know that Daniela went down there, one of our reporters. A lot of communities in that area are going to spend a while recovering, and there's still over 2 million people without power.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people from that area are coming into San Antonio. They have family, they have friends, and they're coming in to stay in our community because it's too hot to be without AC out there.
It is. And meanwhile, we're hurting for rain, right? Like, we want more rain in San Antonio.
The opposite moment.
Exactly. We're dealing with drought, but there is the potential this afternoon for a few lucky neighborhoods to be getting some rainfall. Let's go ahead and take a look at how many 100-degree days we've had so far this year. 12 100-degree days so far this year. On average, we see 18, and last year was our year with the most 100-degree days on record, 75. By the way, last year was our most 100-degree days on record. Take a look at where we were at this point last year at 15. So we're only pacing behind last year by 3 days. The X factor in the summer is the tropics, and this has already been much more of an active start to the season for Texas than last year was. So we'll keep you posted on all things in the tropics. One of these days, we might just get a little bit of rain here in San Antonio from one of those systems. 97 degrees in San Antonio for the high today. As we take a look at the next several days, our highs are going to be in the upper 90s. We'll be close to 100, close to adding onto that triple-digit tally. But as Patty mentioned, heat advisory for areas near Houston. We'll talk about why there's a heat advisory there soon. But first, I want you to take a look off to the west. Excessive heat warnings for a good portion of the western half of the United States. And that is because this is a look at the forecast highs there. 118 Palo Verde, 128 in Death Valley for the high temperature today. Even areas like Portland, Oregon, Boise, Idaho, which are typically a lot cooler this time of year, going to be looking at temperatures of 102 degrees in Portland, 105 in Boise. In San Antonio, 97 for the high today. Remember how I said how Houston is under a heat advisory? Notice they're a little bit cooler than us in San Antonio, high of only 91. But the thing is, 2.3 million people without power in those areas that are under that heat advisory. And that is precisely why a heat advisory has been issued, because a lot of these folks do not have air conditioning. A big provider there out at CenterPoint expects 1 million customers to be restored by tomorrow, at some point tomorrow, but that still leaves 1 million plus without power for a couple days at least. 85 in San Antonio outside right now. It's 84 at Stinson, 87 in Del Rio, 79 still in Kerrville. And we do have a couple of showers and storms out there right now. You can see in Rock Springs area, we're looking at a few thunderstorms. I'm going to go ahead and press play here. You can see a few thunderstorms developing out near Rock Springs at the moment and near Ozona. This is a great way to show that we do have some energy in the atmosphere that could aid us in seeing a few showers and storms later on today. You can see that in the futurecast. 1 or 2 pop-up downpours possible, even here in San Antonio during the afternoon and evening commute. It's not going to rain for everybody, but there is a decent chance for rain. Again, about a 20 to 30% chance for a few showers and storms. Looking at KSAT 12-hour forecast, by noon it'll be 91, and then we'll be at 97 for the afternoon high. Again, a 30% chance through about 7 p.m., and then it's going to be a warm evening with temperatures in the mid-80s by 9 p.m. Take a look at high temperatures in your neighborhoods. 97 in New Braunfels, 97 in Gonzales, 99 in Del Rio, 102 in Laredo. And by the way, we have a chance for isolated rain in the afternoon just about every single day of this the rest of this week. Just to know that not everybody's going to get rain, 20 to 30% chance.
Not everybody, but at least maybe some chances of cloud cover.
At least we have something to hope for in the afternoon with an isolated shower or two.
That's true. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah. Time right now, 9:19.
Well, next year, we're going to have to elect a new mayor, and one of the 3 candidates already throwing his hat into the ring is District 9 Councilman John Courage. When we come back, why Courage says he is ready for a new challenge. Well, welcome back. It's 9:22. Well, at the Bexar County Justice Center, there are not any big trials expected this week. However, several high-profile cases are showing up on the docket.
That includes some cases ending in plea deals. Erika Hernandez is keeping an eye on what we can expect at the Justice Center this week.
A man accused of playing a role in the starvation and abuse of his 4-year-old son has a hearing Tuesday. Brendan Savetta is out on bond. In April, the boy's stepmother, Miranda Cáceres, was sentenced to 25 years in prison for her part in the case. Savetta's trial date could be scheduled during Tuesday's hearing. Also making a court appearance on Wednesday, Jesse Garcia. If the name sounds familiar, he's accused of shooting 3 San Antonio police officers last summer. Garcia faces numerous charges, including aggravated assault of a public servant. The case is in its early stages, and evidence is still being handed over to the defense. After several delays, this man, Juan Santos Huerta, is scheduled to be sentenced Wednesday. He's accused of severely neglecting his 74-year-old mother and cashing more than $69,000 from her health care provider checks. Huerta took a plea deal last month on charges of injury to the elderly and Medicaid fraud. Specifics of that deal have not been revealed, but he has applied for probation. And on Friday, Giovanni Pachal will have to decide between a plea deal or heading to trial. Paschal is accused of shooting and killing a woman outside a Valero gas station last summer. According to an arrest affidavit, the entire incident was caught on surveillance video. Now, if Paschal doesn't take a plea deal, he is facing up to life in prison. For an update on this case and all other court cases, just head to the court page on KSAT.com. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Well, who will be San Antonio's next mayor? Well, with 10 months until the city election, there are already 3 declared candidates in the race. This morning, we hear from the first one to throw his hat in the ring all the way back in January. John Courage is in his 4th and final term as a District 9 councilman, and he spoke with City Hall reporter Garrett Beringer about why he wants to take the top spot.
Fond of saying there's not a conservative or liberal way to fill a pothole, Northside Councilman John Courage says a big part of his success has been from listening.
You really need to reach out as a listener, too, though, because you hear a lot of voices. Many times they represent certain interests, but they may not represent everybody.
With Mayor Ron Nuremberg stepping down because of term limits, Courage and the other candidates won't have to fight an incumbent or their record.
I want to continue building on what we've started to make sure they work, to make sure they're successful.
That includes job training, public health spending, adding more police officers, and affordable housing, which Courage believes is the city's biggest issue. He also points to his practice as a councilman of letting constituents vote on what projects to fund, raising money for the city's first gun buyback, and encouraging the use of special baby surrender boxes.
Leadership isn't always creating something that you think. It's really being able to identify things that are around this nation and that are around this state and that are around this city that can be put to good use. And that's just common sense leadership.
He also drew flack from pro-Palestine protesters for not taking up a ceasefire resolution for the war in Gaza.
You have a right to be here.
But while Courage doesn't think it's the city's role to weigh in on international conflicts, the former teacher does want to promote education, in particular getting more volunteer tutors involved in schools. He even suggested expanding a property tax break program for seniors by giving them credit for volunteering as tutors.
We can actually give them a deduction on their property taxes.
For more on Courage's ideas and why he thinks he should be the next mayor, check out our full interview on KSAT.com. Garrett Beringer, KSAT 12 News.
Well, the time now is 9:26, and there's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
Including how the city of San Antonio is expanding its cool pavement program to help residents keep cool while outside.
And you might have seen social media videos about squatting online. So why is it such a challenging issue to deal with? In our latest case, it explains. Myra Arthur looks at what laws exist in Texas when it comes to squatting and why it's a challenge for law enforcement to deal with it.
And as we head to break, don't forget to enter for your chance to win tickets to see Peso Pluma at the Frost Bank Center for free later this month. You have until Monday to enter our KSAT Insider contest. Just scan the QR code on your screen right there to enter. One lucky person will win 4 tickets to the concert on the 27th. For a look at the official rules, just head to KSAT.com. We'll be right back. All right, taking a live look outside. Beautiful clear skies. 85 degrees out there already.
I know it's going to get a little warmer for a lot of us, but some lucky people may get some rain.
And are getting some rain, actually. Take a look at your screens. Rock Springs. You're getting some thunderstorms right now through Rock Springs. That is some welcome news up there, areas that need the rainfall. This is a great indication of the kind of atmosphere we have overhead today, where a few showers and storms are going to be possible in the afternoon. It's just kind of luck of the draw if you end up getting an isolated shower in your backyard. In the pollen count, we just got it in. Molds are low at 480. This is good news, too, because they're down from yesterday. Yesterday, we had a very high pollen count. Today, we got a low pollen count. As we take a look at your Tuesday, it's mostly sunny outside right now. But in the afternoon, during the peak heat of the day, there's a 30% chance for you to see an isolated shower and a pop-up shower or storm. I do think it is going to cause some interruptions to the evening commute later, because there will be some folks getting some rain during that time. Otherwise, a high temperature of 97 degrees and a hot one. Again, I hope you get some rain in your backyard, but there's more opportunities later on this week. We'll talk about that coming up, but first, take a look at these rainfall amounts from Hurricane Beryl. 7 to 10 inches of rain from Houston to Galveston, and then 7 inches of rain up in northeast Texas. What's bit disappointing is that these areas are the areas that need the rain the least. Here's a look at the drought monitor. No drought for the areas that received 7 to 10 inches of rain. But we're in the middle of a moderate drought in San Antonio with extreme drought all the way up toward Kerrville and out west toward Del Rio. But again, we have a chance for a few isolated showers and storms this afternoon. I'll be showing you those details coming up.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, squatting has been a trending topic lately, getting a ton of attention online, and it's a tough one because there is a lot of legal gray area.
So there are no laws in Texas that prohibit squatting specifically. So what can be done about it? Myra Arthur finds out the answer in our latest KSAT Explains.
What is squatting?
Well, squatting is a term that I think has multiple meanings to multiple people.
But perhaps the definition that most of us think of when someone moves into a home that is not theirs and begins to claim it as their own. And then, to make that unsettling idea worse, there's nothing a homeowner can do about it. But is that accurate? First, let's go back, way back. The idea of squatting can be traced to medieval England. Here in the U.S., the practice is linked to several major points in history: the California Gold Rush, the Great Depression, World War II. Today, the renewed concern over squatting may have a link to part of American history that we're witnessing in real time: the border crisis. A TikTok video from a so-called migrant influencer went viral in the spring of 2024. It's since been removed from the creator's account, but it showed a Venezuelan man telling people they can come to the U.S., move into a home, and claim squatters' rights in order to stay. In Texas, squatters' rights don't really exist. There's nothing on the books that spells them out. There is something called adverse possession.
It's a concept in the law that dates back in our common law to England. It actually predates the founding of the United States. So let's say we've got two farmers who work land side by side, and there's a patch out in the far reaches of their land. And Farmer A starts to go over onto the other side of Farmer B's land, maybe accidentally at first, and maybe they're not quite sure where the boundaries are. And they start growing. Farmer A starts growing crops in Farmer B's land. After 10 years, Farmer A could actually make a claim to make that patch of land that was Farmer B's their own.
But that's only after those 10 years have passed.
We were first introduced to our most egregious squatting complaint during COVID.
Precinct 4 Bexar County Constable Catherine Brown remembers that squatting call well.
He had called me frantically complaining about how his electric bill quadrupled. They saw an electric cord from his power outlet outside in the back of his church over the fence into a vacant home with squatters in it, stealing his electricity.
KSAT covered this story in March of 2023. The East Side home was supposed to be vacant and owned by Bexar County at the time. Eventually, the city's dangerous assessment response team did an inspection, said the people inside had no right to be there, and the house was unsafe. Court records showed the man living there filed a lawsuit claiming the property was his and had done the same thing with another home on the west side. The previous owner of that east side house had passed away. Brown says her office got the squatters out because of that power cord.
In that case, the issue from a law enforcement perspective, you all were able to say this is trespassing.
That is correct.
Okay.
Because there was nobody to actually evict them. If you suspect that there's a vacant home of a good friend that you know that perhaps passed away or something, and you know that the family they don't live nowhere close by, who do you call to say, I think I have a possible squatter living next to me?
I'm guessing people would call law enforcement. That would be the first stop.
And what could we do if they're not breaking the law?
How is staying in a place that you do not own and do not have a lease for, how is that not against the law?
Isn't that crazy? And what is our right as law enforcement to question you to produce a lease if you're not doing anything that's breaking the law?
That's what makes this issue of squatting tough for law enforcement to deal with. There must be a law broken for officers to address it. Precinct 4 doesn't keep track of the squatting reports it receives. San Antonio police don't either. despite a lack of hard numbers.
We're going to get legislation put together that will come take these properties back from squatters.
Texas lawmakers are taking notice. A Senate committee hearing in May of 2024 looked at squatting across the state and heard testimony from homeowners who've been there.
Told a handyman, hey, don't come to the house. I'm going to be out of town for about 2 or 3 weeks. He broke into my home. I called the police and they said, how long has he been there? And I said, I've been gone about 2 weeks. And they said, well, this is a civil matter. You'll have to go to court.
Boyette testified it took 7 months to get the squatter out. Suspected squatting cases can cross into a complicated area of landlord-tenant law, especially if at one point the person was allowed to be in the home. Let's say a contractor was allowed to stay at a house while making repairs, or a guest was allowed to live there for a short time. Current law could view that person as a tenant, so homeowners might have to evict.
So if you stay beyond that agreement, why can't somebody just easily kick you out?
I think a lot of these depend on the facts, the specific facts, and for how long someone has been staying there. So if they have stayed there past a month, even if you only rented it for 2 weeks, and they stretched out there, it is possible that the person who's still staying there, they've breached their contract, almost certainly. They are subject to removal, almost certainly, but they might be able to claim, possibly defensively, possibly not, that they're entitled to the protections of landlord-tenant law, which require an eviction rather than a summary removal from law enforcement.
Texas law requires at least a 3-day notice before someone can be evicted. Then an owner can file an eviction lawsuit. Those cases are typically heard between 10 and 21 days after a suit is filed. So with the laws that exist or don't exist in Texas, what can you do to try to protect yourself?
The burden does fall on property owners, but to be really cautious and careful about the agreements they enter into.
And remember, some agreements can be verbal, whether you intended to make one or not when inviting someone into your home. So put everything in writing, include start and end dates. And if you have a vacant home or a second property, make sure you check on it regularly.
There seems to be a correlation for the longer that a person is living someplace, the less likely that law enforcement will be likely to come in and remove them.
While legislators are looking at ways to change laws, there are concerns about unintended consequences.
Putting these new provisions into place might invite abuse by someone who claims to be the true owner who is not. How is it going to affect a short-term renter?
Outside of the generally applicable laws against trespass, burglary, property destruction, and then the eviction process, there's nothing that really covers this fairly narrow area.
And I know this is really frustrating. I've covered some of those stories. It's so frustrating and costly for the property owners too. So,
goodness. And how long ago was the story?
It's about a year ago.
About a year ago.
Yeah, but it was a very lengthy process before that for that
I
family.
see. And we'll be hearing a lot about that later.
Exactly. Time right now, 9:39, 85 degrees out there. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Well, that Texas heat is no joke, as you know, and the streets can be brutal under the sun. That's why there are efforts being made to cool pavements off, and it could be happening in your neighborhood. We're going to have that story for you when we come back. Welcome back. It's 9:43. Well, in the Texas heat, you have to find ways to stay cool outdoors.
Yeah, that is why the city of San Antonio is expanding its efforts behind something called Cool Pavement, and it could be coming into your neighborhood.
Well, Avery Everett tells us more about San Antonio's Cool Neighborhood program.
It's just hot. There's nothing we can do to Mother Nature about that.
Summer in San Antonio is only heating up.
It's gotten hotter. It's very, very warm.
But the city may have a solution in its Cool Pavement program. What started as a pilot last summer for San Antonio streets is now turning into a neighborhood-wide project.
We're trying to make sure that residents are able to sustain and just get through these hot summers.
In phase 1, the city paved 10 roads, like this one here on Moore's Inn. You can actually see the difference between what's not been treated and what has been treated. That's why phase 2 focuses in on neighborhoods to help pave connected streets like Moon and Glen, and also add trees and other shade systems to help decrease heat across the board. A UTSA study found city council districts 2, 3, and 5 to be the hottest in San Antonio. Lifelong residents say that's not surprising.
How has this area changed in the last 47 years?
A lot. People walk around a lot here. The kids walk from school. it's just, it's too dangerous.
That's why the city is turning to these communities to talk about the heat. The first one in District 3 was Monday night. Dozens of people showed up to weigh in on the problem.
We need shade everywhere, like on the streets.
An online survey will also be open until the end of July. But this conversation is far from finished in the city of San Antonio.
It's a whole city approach to making sure that we can get through summers a little easier.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
We can do it, y'all. We can get through the summer. I mean,
we've done it before.
Last summer was our hottest summer ever on record for San Antonio, so let's hope we don't do that again. And so far, you know, June was not as hot as last June, so that's some good news there. But it is going to be a hot afternoon. 97 in San Antonio, 93 in Boerne, 91 in Los Maples, 97 in Floresville, and 97 in Pleasanton. Okay, before the break, I showed you all of the rain that fell from Beryl and how it fell in the area that just does not need more rain. There's absolutely no drought in those areas. But here in San Antonio, we've got extreme drought in the hill country and out to the west. We need rain, and there's a few showers and thunderstorms right now, right over Rock Springs and Sonora. Take a look at this as I zoom in closer to the Rock Springs area, right along 377 here. Rock Springs, if you are out there watching us in Rock Springs right now, I would love to see pictures of what you're seeing. You can post them onto KSAT Connect, and I could even show them on air. But this is a great indication that there are parts of our atmosphere that are unsettled and that are able to see some rain. And as we head into the afternoon here in San Antonio, we get a little bit of extra daytime heat. That daytime heat acts as fuel for storms. And there will be some neighborhoods that see some rain this afternoon. It's 84 degrees right now in San Antonio, 83 in Kerrville. Here's a look at the clouds on the radar. Post-tropical cyclone Beryl. Basically, it's not tropical anymore, but it's all the way up in Little Rock, Arkansas, bringing a lot of rain. Behind it, we have a stationary front. So the daytime heat is the fuel, and the stationary front is kind of the ignition to see some of those storms develop. And that is going to be the case later on today. Again, a few pop-up showers and storms possible right around the time of the evening rush hour. Your chance in your backyard is 20 to 30%. Okay, so not everybody's going to see rain, but we have at least a chance today, tomorrow, and Thursday because that stationary boundary is still going to be there. As we take a look at your KSAT 12-hour forecast, by noon it'll be 91. In the afternoon, that's that 30% chance. Even if you don't get rain, the neighborhoods that do get rain will obviously get the rainfall, but even if you don't get rain, you'll at least get some of that rain-cooled air out there. So temperatures should fall after 3 p.m. today, and we'll be looking at 86 by 9 p.m. In your 7-day forecast, a daily chance for only isolated rain. So no big rainmakers or drought-denting rain out there, but at least we have the opportunity to see a brief afternoon cooling shower or storm. We will keep you posted. Make sure to check the radar before you head out for that afternoon or evening commute, just because, again, there will be a few isolated showers and storms out there.
Maybe I will carry my umbrella, because like it's when you're prepared.
Yes, right.
Or no, maybe I won't.
That would jinx it.
Yeah.
That would jinx it.
Well, I will leave my umbrella at home so that I'll get some rain.
So if I get rain in my backyard, I'll know it's because of
I left it at home. Okay.
And I'm gonna go water my grass so that we could get rain.
There you go.
Because that also happens.
Just do so with a conservation in mind.
Yes. We will do all those things to make it happen. Thank you, Sarah.
All right, time right now 9:48. 85 degrees out there, but it feels like 92.
Yeah, but look at our friends, the flamingos.
They
love the
heat.
sun. Yeah, they're out there enjoying the sun. I don't see any in the shade right here where we usually see them at the bottom of your screen.
And they're not hiding their little faces either.
Nope, they're proud to be out there at the San Antonio Zoo, and it is a great day to go to the zoo.
To Harry Potter trivia here at KSAT 12 with two of our most important Harry Potter nerds in the newsroom. We've got Courtney Friedman as Harry Potter. We've got Sarah Costa as the Albus Dumbledore. First question, how many books are in the series?
See, it's a tie.
Sarah. 7. Correct. What year was the first book published?
1998.
1998. I will remind you, wait for me to call you.
Oh, sorry. I'm just really excited.
Yes.
So Courtney Friedman and our Sarah Costa, as you see there, they went head to head, very competitive to see who knows more about the boy wizard. So we're going to have more from their epic battle today on the news at noon.
And Sarah and Courtney brushed up on their Harry Potter knowledge ahead of the special noon show. We're going to go on the road to Lander Branch Library tomorrow, so join us live at noon as we explore what our local libraries have to offer.
Plus, parents, if you're out of ideas when it comes to entertaining your kids this summer, libraries have a lot of options. So they're all free, and you can tune in for that tomorrow on the news at noon.
I am one of those parents that has run out of options of how to keep them entertained.
Yes.
So that's a good idea.
Yeah, it works.
Do some of the Science with Sarah experiments with your kids. You can find those on KSAT.com too.
It's a lot of hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do them inside.
Yes, that's true. So they'll be nice and cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was a movie that mocked not only the culture of the 70s, but also threw zingers at our profession. Will Ferrell nailed the character of Ron Burgundy.
And now Anchorman turns 20 years old today. ABC's Danny New spoke to one of the many people whose careers it changed, the nationally respected broadcaster who served as its narrator.
Stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Today, Anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy, turns 20 years old.
Emmy Award-winning anchor, Ron Burgundy.
The comedy about a San Diego news team in the 1970s has become a classic in the last 2 decades.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
But on everyone's millionth rewatch of Will Ferrell's unpredictable news reads,
there was a time before cable.
They'll still first always be greeted by the voice of an actual legendary broadcaster.
There was a time before cable.
Back in the early 2000s, Emmy and Peabody winner Bill Curtis says he was largely retired from his decades-long career as a journalist.
Tonight, investigative reports.
When he hesitantly took a call from director Adam McKay.
Journalists don't do movies, though we didn't then. And I thought, oh, God, this could be the end of a career.
Thankfully, he found the screenplay very funny.
Ms. Veronica Corningstone.
And could remember living through TV news in the 70s. For example, the main catalyst of the movie's plot is when women started finally getting more chances in the newsroom. And Curtis actually co-anchored with ABC News legend and pioneer Diane Sawyer in the early 80s.
She becomes the star. All of a sudden,